Romance of Sui and Tang Dynasties Chapter 21.
What jumps out right away from the sources is just the sheer pressure people were under. It's not just taxes were high. It's a picture of systemic, almost institutionalized desperation. You really need to grasp how financially strangled the average person was to understand why, stealing 3,000 taels of silver becomes this potentially revolutionary act.
Right. And the novel is very specific about how that strangulation worked. It wasn't just the regular taxes, the Qiong, the autumn grain and summer taxes people sort of expected, even though they were painful.
Exactly. Those were the baseline, maybe survivable. The killer was everything piled on top, the explosion of these arbitrary, just completely invented fees. The sources call them rizheng, which translates kind of weirdly as no artistic levies.
No artistic levies. That sounds almost comically bureaucratic for what was basically theft, wasn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. Think of it like this. The government, or rather local officials, need more money. So they just invent new charges, new fees, often pocketing a good chunk themselves.
Okay, so what kind of things are we talking about? Give us some examples.
Oh, they were everywhere. You had GIAPI. These were just random extra charges added to your bill. No schedule, no reason, just pay more.
Just because?
Just because. Then you had surcharges like ho-how, the melting fees. You had to pay extra supposedly for the cost of handling or refining the silver you were paying in.
We pay extra for paying?
Essentially, yes. And maybe the most blatant was the Qiong, the magistrate's freshness surcharge.
Freshness surcharge. Like keeping the magistrate fresh. What does that even mean?
It basically guaranteed the magistrate a fresh, steady income stream just for being there and collecting. So you add all these layers up. By the time you paid your official tax, you might have paid 3 or 4 times that amount in these completely made-up fees.
Wow. It's a system designed to bleed people dry, enrich the local officials.
Precisely. And the novel doesn't shy away from the human cost. It's visceral.
Yeah, we read about people selling literally the clothes off their backs just to get something to eat, neglecting their kids because there's no food.
And facing horrible punishments if they couldn't pay. Public beatings, the Bianchi, people being forced from their homes, Quincy, total displacement.
It's just an unsustainable reality. It basically turns everyone into a potential rebel, doesn't it?
It does. And then this simmering crisis hits a boiling point because of a decision from the top. The Sui ruler, the Suizu, orders this huge project, a great undertaking, a dagong.
On top of everything else, they demand more.
Exactly. This massive project needs not just labor, but huge amounts of money from the provinces.
So the people already broke, starving, being beaten, and now the central government wants a massive cash injection for some grand project.
You got it. And our story zooms in on Shandong province, specifically the regions of Qizhou and Qingzhou. They get tasked with raising and sending 3,000 taels of silver to the capital, Luoyang, for assistance, CG.
3,000 taels.
Right, sure.
And that silver, it isn't just money, is it? It's like the physical embodiment of all that suffering, all those fake fees.
That's a great way to put it. It's symbolic. It's blood money in a way.
Okay, so the stage is set. We've got this huge pile of very symbolic, very valuable, and presumably very well-guarded official money. And it's moving through this incredibly unstable territory. Enter the man who sees this not as a problem, but as, well, an opportunity. Qiong. Tell us about him. He's known as Yu Yuanwei, Gentleman Yu, from Yansu. But he's not one of the starving peasants, is he?
No, not at all. And that's crucial. The sources describe him as a haoji, a hero, a strong man, but a wealthy one. He's already spent years traveling the Lulin, the Greenwood, the outlaw world.
Right, so he's got connections, maybe some experience skirting the law.
More than skirting it, he's part of that class of northern strongmen, the Xiangma, who often had real capital. They were frequently big landowners. Yudong has resources. He has intelligence. He operates on the fringes already.
And this 3,000 taels is moving right through his home turf, Yansu. He sees his chance. But why can't he just grab it himself if he's this powerful figure with his own people?
Because it's guan lang. Official government money. That means serious protection. Professional soldiers, imperial guards, maybe? It's a high-profile transfer, so security would be intense.
Ah, okay. So a simple smash and grab is out. It's too risky.
Way too risky. Yutong knows his own staff, his retainers. They're loyal, maybe, but they lack the raw strength, the luli, the kind of hardcore fighting ability needed for this kind of job. A direct hit needs overwhelming force, someone exceptional.
Someone who knows how to fight against exactly those kinds of professional soldiers. He needs a specialist.
Precisely. This isn't just hiring muscle, it's strategic recruitment for a potentially life or death gamble. He needs someone utterly reliable too, someone bound to him.
Okay, so he starts looking, and he hears about someone, Qiong Yaojin.
That's the name that comes up, Qiong, alias Yaojin, courtesy name Ziji, sometimes called Qiong Yilin.
And what's Qiong Yaojin's story? What makes him the perfect candidate in Yutong's eyes?
Well, his background is just tailor-made for this. He used to live near a place called Banjiao Shop, and he wasn't just some local tough, he was a private salt merchant.
Private salt merchant in that era, that means.
That basically means professional outlaw. Salt was a government monopoly. To trade it privately, you had to be willing to fight government troops, bribe officials, evade patrols. It was a dangerous, violent business.
So he's already got combat experience against the state. Proven experience.
Exactly. The sources mention he actually fought official troops and ended up sentenced to Chongzhen frontier exile for his troubles. He was pardoned later, but that history. It confirms he can fight and survive against the exact kind of people guarding that silver.
He's got the Lulu Yutong needs.
He's got it. He's tough, he's survived the system's worst punishment short of execution, and he's clearly not intimidated by authority.
The perfect outlaw CV. Okay, so Yutong identifies his target recruit. How does he find him? This guy sounds like he might be trying to keep a low profile after being exiled and pardoned.
You know, the sources say it was just pure luck, almost unbelievable. Yutong is out riding one day, the weather's getting cold. He stops at this little wine shop out in the suburbs. And there he is, Qiong Yaojin, just sitting there.
Wow. And the description of Qiong in the novel is incredible, isn't it? So different from the refined, calculating Yutong. Paint us a picture.
Oh, it's striking. He's described as this big, tall, kind of disheveled guy, fierce-looking, sharp eyebrows, bright, intense eyes. His face is scarred, and it mentions these odd lumps of flesh on it.
Lumps of flesh.
Yeah, strange detail. And even Liaya exposed tusks, like a boar or something. He looks positively fearsome, and he's wearing rough, poor clothes, clearly unkempt.
This absolute unit, this fearsome-looking guy who sought salt patrols and survived exile. What's he doing in the wine shop?
He's putting down a bundle of firewood chai bar. It turns out he couldn't sell it. So this terrifying figure is actually just down on his luck, trying to make a few coins, probably stopping for a cheap cup of hot wine to warm up.
So Yutong sees him, probably hears his name or someone mentioned Banjiao Shop, and realizes who it is.
Exactly. And the text says he reacts like finding a living treasure. He sees the potential immediately.
And he moves fast.
Instantly. Shows his decisiveness, right? But he can't just walk up and say, hey, want to help me rob the government?
No, probably not the best opening line.
So he spins a story, a very clever lie, tailored perfectly to Qiong's situation.
What's the cover story?
He approaches Qiong, lays on the charm, flatters him, says, you know, my family's fortunes are down, times are hard, this drought. Blames the government, which Qiong can probably relate to.
Okay, building common ground.
Right. Then he says he needs to start a new business venture, travel maybe, but the roads are dangerous, he needs protection, a bodyguard.
Seems straightforward enough.
But here's the clever bit. He immediately pivots from a job offer to proposing sworn brotherhood. He emphasizes equality. Let's be brothers, ignore the fact that I'm rich and you're poor.
Ah, very smart.
Yeah.
That offers Qiong more than just money. It offers status, belonging, security.
Exactly what a man down on his luck with a rough past might crave. They compare ages. Yutong is 5 years older, so he becomes the elder brother. They perform the 8 vows, swear the whole oath, life and death, share fortunes and misfortunes.
So this legendary brotherhood, it starts with a calculated lie to secure loyalty.
Pretty much. Yutong is minimizing his risk. A sworn brother is less likely to betray you than a hired hand, especially when you're planning something this dangerous.
Okay, the oath is sworn. They're brothers. But Qiong, despite his appearance, seems to have some honor. He raises a concern.
He does. His one big worry. His old mother, waiting for him at home. He can't just abandon her.
That's a potential deal breaker. Filial piety is a huge deal.
And this is where Yutong is just brilliant. Masterful manipulation. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't just offer money for the mother's care. He says, bring her here. Tonight, she'll live with me. I'll treat her as my own bimu.
His bimu. So, like, his aunt, part of his own family.
Exactly. He instantly removes Qiong's only moral obstacle.
Yeah.
He integrates the mother into his wealthy, secure household.
Wow. Okay. That frees Qiong up completely, doesn't it? Guilt-free.
Totally free to dedicate himself to Yutong, and whatever dangerous business venture comes up, it cements the bond way tighter than just an oath.
So the deal is almost done.
Yeah.
But there's one last little piece of maneuvering, right, about the move itself.
Yeah, Qiong says something like, okay, great, but let me just sell this firewood first, buy some rice, then I'll move my mother. Practicalities.
Makes sense.
But Qiong wants him locked in now. No delays, no chance for second thoughts. So he immediately pulls out a silver ingot, a whole ingot, calls it a moving fee. Bani Jifei.
Just like that. Here's a chunk of silver.
Just like that. And Qiong, well, he's probably never held that much silver at once in his life. It solves his immediate problem, his mother's needs. The source says he takes it without even saying thanks, just shoves it in his sleeve.
Overwhelmed.
Completely. And then Qiong plies him with wine, lots of wine. Dozens of bowls of this emergency wine, Juju. Qiong gets absolutely hammered.
Okay, picture this scene. This huge, fierce-looking guy, future revolutionary hero, totally drunk, finally bowing to his new rich elder brother, ready to leave.
And then comes the twist, the moment of, well, failure that becomes Qiong's masterstroke.
What happens?
Qiong is drunk, right. He clutches the top of his sleeve as he bows, trying to be respectful, but the source specifically notes the bottom of his rough sleeve is torn.
Oh, no.
Yeah. As he bows and raises his arm, the silver ingot, the moving fee, the thing sealing the deal, just slips out through the hole in the bottom of his sleeve, plop, onto the floor, and he's too drunk to notice.
Well, he just leaves.
Without the money?
He stumbles out, completely oblivious. Qiong's retainers see it, though. They pick up the silver ingot and go to Qiong. Master, they say, that drunk guy dropped his moving fee. Should we run after him and give it back?
And what does Qiong say? The calculating gentleman Yu? This is where you see his mind truly working. Ice cold. He actually admits to his men he already regretted giving the silver away.
He regretted it. Why?
His calculation was this. If he'd actually gone home with that silver, Qiong says, he and his mother might have talked it over. They might have realized, hey, we've got enough to get by for a little while. They might have decided not to come.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The silver could have given Qiong temporary independence, a chance to back out.
Exactly. It removed the immediate desperation Qiong needed. So, by letting Qiong leave without the silver, Qiong ensures something else happens.
What's that?
He knows Qiong will eventually sober up. He'll realize the silver is gone. He'll be furious, maybe panicked. He'll remember he was promised it. And what's he going to do?
He has to go back to Qiong.
He has to go back. He has to return to his wealthy new elder brother to get the money he needs, the money he was promised. He'll be embarrassed, maybe angry at himself, but most importantly, he'll be dependent.
So Qiong lets him lose the money
Ah.
to guarantee he comes back, to ensure the alliance holds. That is incredibly manipulative.
It's pure calculation. That seemingly small incident, the torn sleeve, the dropped silver, becomes the final lock in Qiong's plan. It guarantees Qiong's return and his commitment right before the 3,000 taels of government silver are due to pass through Yanzhou.
The most famous brotherhood in the story, arguably, begins not just with a lie, but with a deliberately allowed loss, a broken sleeve, and a piece of cold-blooded strategy. Qiong Yaojin, but right now, his mother is literally half dead from hunger.
No rice, no firewood. The text is stark. It's an immediate, existential crisis.
He can't even really go back into his own house. They've got nothing left, nothing to lock up.
So what does he do? He just pivots, locks the empty door, and in the dark actually carries his mother on his back.
Carries her where?
To the only place he can think of for help, Wunanswang. That's Yu Yuanwei's home.
Okay, so this is where the real hustle begins. Yuanwei doesn't just give him a handout.
No, not at all. He pitches a partnership, a high-stakes one.
Right. He frames it like it's a normal business thing. They'll go down Jiangyan, trade silk and satin, legitimate stuff.
And he makes up this story about how his own family fortune is failing. Waterlogging, drought. He's supposedly desperate, too.
Trying to establish common ground. And he says he needs Qiong Yaojin, calls him a local hero, because the roads are so dangerous, full of robbers.
He's painting this picture of mutual need. Struggling merchant needs strong hero. But we really need to pause here and talk about Qiong Yaojin's mother.
Yes. The source is specific. She comes from a great family. She's savvy. She gets how things work.
She's not just some simple village woman. She understands money, status, risk.
And she immediately spots the problem. Why would this wealthy merchant suddenly make a, quote, crude laborer with absolutely no money an equal partner? especially for a risky trip.
It makes no sense. She lays it out. If Yuanwei really admires him and needs protection, just hire him.
Right. Hire him as a servant, a Oshom, pay him a monthly wage, something stable, something that ensures she gets looked after.
She wants security, not some pie-in-the-sky, dangerous business deal built on, well, nothing concrete.
But what's really interesting is Yuanwei just steamrolls right over her logic, completely dismisses the idea of a regular wage.
He says Cheng Yaoxin's high righteousness is just too good for a servant role.
And boom, partnership sealed. 4 bows right then and there. It's incredibly fast.
A quick way to lock down a desperate, powerful guy who might just overlook the details because he needs this so badly.
And it really tells you something about Yu Yuanwei, doesn't it? He needed a partner, not just muscle, which suggests
that this silk trading plan isn't quite what it seems.
Exactly. That's the risk he takes, giving Cheng Yaojin a stake. He needs that buy-in. And sure enough, as soon as the mother's settled and they're drinking again,
Silk plan just evaporates.
totally forgotten. The real target comes out.
And I noticed something interesting here. The text suddenly starts calling him Yu Junda, not Yu Yuanwei anymore.
Precisely. That brotherhood pact, it seems, shifts his identity. Yu Yuanwei is the merchant. Yu Junda is the strategist, the guy with the bigger plan.
And that bigger plan is political. He starts talking about the new emperor.
Yeah, Cheng Yaojin's just relieved he got pardoned, happy to be home. But Yu Junda immediately points out the strain these huge new construction projects are putting on everyone.
Ah, okay. So that gives us the actual target. It's about funding these projects.
Right. The central government needs money, so they're making every prefecture levy funds. Specifically, 3,000 liang of silver.
Which is, you have to remember, an enormous amount. Like, what, 200 pounds of silver? Just staggering. And it's supposed to be for assistance?
But here's where Junode provides the, let's call it, moral justification. He zeroes in on where this particular silver is coming from. Qingzhou. And he accuses the prefect there of excessive cruelty. Says he's corruptly squeezing this money out of people, pretending it's just wine taxes.
Okay, so it's not just dodging taxes. They're framing it as, like, righteous intervention. Stopping a corrupt local official who's starving his own people while claiming to help the emperor.
It's the perfect ethical cover story for, well, highway robbery.
And Cheng Yaojin, how does he react?
He loves it. Remember, he used to sell salt, probably dealt with officials himself. He just laughs.
What does he say?
Says they don't even need a complex plan. If that silver convoy comes through their area, Yanzhou, all he has to do is ride out, and the money will practically roll right in.
That's some serious confidence, especially when you consider what he's actually armed with at this point.
Right. He admits his only weapon is basically a modified wood-chopping axe.
Huh. Not exactly hero gear.
Well, that changes immediately. Junda doesn't just partner with him, he equips him properly.
So goodbye, wood axe.
Oh, yeah. Hello to the 8 trigrams propagating axe. Pure iron. 60 jin, that's nearly 70 pounds.
70 pounds, wow.
And the sides have the 8 trigrams cast into them. Symbols of power, order, serious stuff.
Okay, that is a glow up. What else?
Full bronze armor, a new green robe, even a horse, a green steed. The text says it's only middling quality, but hey, it beats walking.
Definitely. And Junda gets geared up too.
Yep. Iron headscarf, black armor, black spear, the whole warrior look.
And they don't just admire the gear, right?
No time wasted.
Yeah.
They go straight out to the threshing ground, light fires, and start practicing right there in the middle of the night, testing their moves.
With Junda's household watching and cheering them on?
Exactly. The transformation is complete. From broke laborer to armored, bandit hero, funded by the promise of this loot.
Right. The team is assembled, the gear is awesome, the justification is convenient. What's the actual plan for the ambush?
This is where Junda's organization pays off. He's got spies.
Okay, quick work. What do they report?
Hard details. The 3,000 liang leaves Qingzhou after the 15th of the 10th month. It's scheduled to hit a place called Chanjilim on the 24th.
Chanjilim. Got it. And the escort.
2 officials plus 20 long archers. So not a walkover. It's a serious guard detail.
Okay, so how do they prepare for the actual confrontation?
Well, Junda makes sure Cheng Yaojin's feeling brave. Maybe a little too brave.
Uh-oh. More wine.
Plenty of good wine this time. So when Cheng Yaojin takes his position on the road, he's already, the text says, half-drunk, Ban Han.
Perfect. Okay, so the ambush starts. What happens?
It's immediate. The advance officer, a Colonel Lu Fang from Qingzhou, rides up.
And Lu Feng tries to wave him off.
Yeah, basically tells him bandits should stick to the mountains, not rob imperial money on the main road.
But Cheng Yaojin, full of Rhine and new purpose.
He's defiant. He actually clarifies, I'm only here for the 3,000 liang that was corruptly taken from King Zhu. Makes it specific.
Then the fight's on.
It is. They go at it for dozens of rounds. But that new 70-pound axe plus Cheng Yaojin's sheer momentum.
He wins.
He cuts Lu Fang right down off his horse. Kills him.
Whoa. Okay. What does that do to the rest of the escort?
Total panic. Operational breakdown. The 20 archers just scatter. They drop their bows, run for the hills.
And crucially,
They abandon the silver. Just leave it there. The other official, Xu Yinyang, sees his military protection evaporate and just turns his horse and bolts down the road.
okay, success. But wait, here comes the blunder, right?
Yeah.
The almost disastrous mistake.
Oh, it's truly something. Cheng Yaojin sees Xu Liang fleeing and makes an assumption.
He thinks the official must still have the silver, like, strapped to his saddle or something.
Exactly. He doesn't realize it's already to drop back at Cheng Yulim, so he takes off after the wrong guy.
No. How far does he chase him?
For miles. The text says 10 li. Just this intense, probably still slightly drunken, pursuit of an empty-handed official.
Imagine Xu Liang terrified looking back.
Finally, Xu Liang just can't take it anymore. He's exhausted, turns around and yells basically, "Hey, highwayman, the silver's back at Cheng Yulim. Why are you still chasing me?"
The dawning realization for Cheng Yaojin must have been painful. All that effort for nothing.
Crushing. He stops, realizes. Yulian men must have the silver by now, and he's about to just turn back.
But Xu Liang pushes it.
Yeah, Xu Liang, now feeling a bit safer, gets angry, starts yelling insults, threatens to report him, says he'll find out who he is to make sure he's caught.
And this is where Cheng Yaojin's, let's call it heroic pride, kicks in.
Completely overrides any sense of operational security. He cannot stand being threatened or insulted like that. He needs to prove he's not just some random thug.
So what does he do? Stop the official again?
Stops him just long enough to puff out his chest and proudly announce.
Oh, no, don't tell me.
His full name, Cheng Yaojin. And, for good measure, his partner's name, Yujunda. We're the heroes who took that 3,000 liang.
He actually said their names out loud to the official.
Yep. An immediate, total, catastrophic lapse in security, driven purely by ego.
Wow, just wow. And the regret must have hit instantly.
The second Xu Liang rides off, Cheng Yaojin is already thinking, oh no, what's Yujunda going to say? The whole operation, potentially compromised by that single moment of pride.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, or Wunanswang.
Yeah, back there, Yujunda's men have already scooped up the silver. They're literally slaughtering pigs and sheep, getting ready for a massive victory feast.
The heist itself, flawless victory, the secrecy, already blown.
Pretty much. The news is already heading towards the nearest government office, courtesy of Xu Liang. It wasn't just a theft. It instantly became, well, bureaucratic wildfire.
Right. It shook governance across multiple provinces. And that's what we're diving into today, following that flame.
Yeah, tracking how this one crime, this highway robbery, spun out of control and turned into a high-level political hot potato.
We're going to look at the specific consequences, the finger-pointing, the bureaucratic maneuvering, because this quickly stopped being about catching bandits.
Oh, absolutely. It became about saving careers, deflecting blame. It's a classic example, really, of how that ancient system of accountability worked.
Pressure from the top just cascades down.
Precisely. If the sender, Lu Yang, needs that silver, the pressure moves down the chain, and it gets harsher and harsher the further local you go.
So how did it start, the actual incident report?
It begins with a survivor, actually. An official from Qingzhou named Zhu Lang. He reports the theft up the chain to his boss, the censor Hu Ziping.
And a censor, just for context, is a pretty high-ranking official, right? Investigative, administrative.
Yes, appointed by the central government. So Su Liang survived, but the transport officer, a guy named Lu Fang, and 4 archers didn't. They were killed.
Okay, tragic. But then comes the weird detail.
Yes, the detail that sets everything off. Xu Liang claims the bandits actually announced who they were during the attack.
Which sounds insane.
Completely. He says they declared themselves as the Jingshan Great King Chen Da and Niu Jin.
Wait, hold on. If you're pulling off a major heist, why on earth would you shout your name? That immediately smells fishy.
Exactly what the local officers thought. They questioned it right away. Was it real or was it, a deliberate trick?
A ruse to send investigators chasing ghosts.
Precisely. But real or not, that detail was enough. It kicked the bureaucratic blame game into high gear.
And Hu Ziping, the Qingzhou censor, he didn't waste any time trying to figure out the truth, did he?
0 time. His priority wasn't the silver, it wasn't justice for Lu Fang, it was denying liability. Full stop.
So this is where the risk deflection masterclass begins.
Absolutely. He apparently raged at Su Liang, the survivor, and then immediately fired off official documents straight to the top.
To Yuan Kai, the guy overseeing the whole Luyang construction project.
The very same.
Yeah.
The man who desperately needed that 3,000 ounces of silver like yesterday.
And Hu Xiping's argument was
Purely geographical and strategic. He claimed the theft technically happened just over the border, in Qiong territory.
so it's Qiong's fault because they failed to provide defense? Clever.
Very. He successfully shoved the whole mess, especially the financial liability, one province over onto Qiong's books.
And Zhu Liang, the guy who reported it.
Detained. Left hanging as the local fall guy, while Hu Xiping tried to wash his hands of it.
Okay, so he passed the financial buck, temporarily at least. But the pressure from Luyang must have been immense. What did Yuan Kai do?
Oh, the response was swift and brutal. Yuan Kai didn't care about the provincial squabbling. He needed the silver or its value. So he issued this really strict, escalating mandate.
Designed to inflict maximum pain and force action, I bet.
You got it. This is where you really see that layered imperial accountability. It wasn't vague. It was a schedule.
A schedule. Okay, tell me.
Rule 1. If the silver isn't found within 1 month, Qiong, the province Hu Xiping blamed, has to pay the full 3,000 ounces immediately.
Wow, that's potentially bankrupting for a local administration.
Huge. But Yuan Kai wasn't done. He knew just making Qiong pay might let Hu Xiping and Qiong off too easily.
So there was more.
Yep, part 2 of the mandate. If, after 2 months, the thieves still haven't been caught, then Hu Xiping himself loses his salary.
So he couldn't completely escape.
Not at all. And the patrol officers involved would be heavily punished. Su Liang would be formally stripped of his office. Though Lu Fang's family, the officer who died, would at least get compensation.
That's fascinating. It's such a specific tiered punishment structure.
It really is. Hu Xiping managed to shift the immediate, crushing financial blow to Qiong, but Yuan Kai made sure there was still a personal consequence waiting for him down the line if the case wasn't solved.
It guarantees the pressure keeps flowing downwards relentlessly.
Exactly. And that pressure lands squarely on Lu Sensor, the unlucky official in Qiong. Suddenly, he's on the hook for 3,000 ounces if his people can't find these alleged bandits in 30 days.
He must have been panicking, facing total ruin.
Complete panic. And his first move wasn't, a calm, methodical investigation. It was suspicion aimed straight at his own guys.
His head police officers.
Yep. Fan Hu and his deputy, Tang Wanren. Lu's censor immediately suspected them of either gross negligence or, even worse,
collusion.
Yeah.
That they were in on it.
That they'd somehow divided up the money. That's the phrase used. It shows the level of paranoia.
And he didn't just suspect them, he acted on it, right?
Immediately. No messing around. He had them both given 15 strokes of the rod.
15 strokes. That's serious physical punishment. Just like that.
Just like that. Purely as motivation, you could say. Then he set this harsh 3-month comparison limit. Meaning, if they didn't get results by the next deadline, they were looking at 30 strokes each. Even worse.
Brutal. Did they try to defend themselves?
Fan Hu did. He argued, pretty reasonably, that the named bandits thing was likely a trick. He pointed out they'd been searching for months already, without a sniff of a lead.
Suggesting it was a cold trail, not incompetence.
Exactly. But once the beatings start, reason kind of goes out the window.
Right.
The bureaucracy isn't listening to excuses. It demands results now.
So Fan Hu and Tang Wanren are literally facing torture and career annihilation if they don't pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Pretty much. The clock is ticking towards that 30-stroke deadline, which leads us right to the next stage. Trying to force a hero into the picture.
They're desperate.
Utterly. The source paints this picture of them sharing a unity drink, probably laced with sheer dread, realizing they have 0 leads.
They're out of options.
Almost. They hit on one last desperate idea. They need to recruit their old friend, Qiong, also known as Shuba.
Qiong. Why him specifically?
Because Qiong was like a local legend. He'd been a super effective police chief for years, known everywhere, had contacts galore, probably on both sides of the law.
Okay, a big name. Where was he now?
He'd moved on to a much safer, more prestigious gig. He was a flag bearer under the powerful General Lai.
So the plan was to leverage his old network and reputation.
Exactly. They hoped maybe, just maybe, his contacts could give them the miracle lead they needed to avoid that second beating.
It sounds risky, but maybe their only shot. But I have a feeling it didn't stay a private plan.
You guessed it. About 50 lower-ranking soldiers and minor officers, guys, who are also potentially on the hook down the line, Thanks to Yuan Kai's mandate, they overhear this.
They overhear the plan to bring back the famous Qiong.
Yes. And they immediately see how they can use this, not just to solve the crime, but to protect themselves.
Uh-oh. How do they twist it?
They completely flip the narrative. They rush off to Lu Sensor, the panicked boss.
And they demand Qing's return.
Yes, but not framed as, let's get the best guy for the job. They frame it as an accusation, a righteous uncovering of corruption.
Corruption against Qiong.
Exactly. They allege that Qiong, during his time as police chief, had accepted constant fees from bandits. Basically, that he was taking bribes for years.
Wow.
And they claim he only got his current cushy military post under General Lai to hide all that past illicit activity.
That is diabolical and brilliant in a terrible way. The lower ranks use the censor sphere to potentially sacrifice a big fish.
Absolutely. This stops being about the silver entirely. Now it's about avoiding pain. Can we create a big enough scandal around someone else, someone important, to make our own potential failures disappear?
Are they trying to find the silver or just trying to avoid getting beaten by pointing fingers at a famous former colleague?
It feels very much like the latter. They're weaponizing Lu Sensor's desperation and his fear of the higher-ups.
So Lu Sensor, now armed with these explosive allegations, goes to see General Lai.
He does, to formally request Qiong be transferred back to police duty to handle this case.
And General Lai and Qiong must have pushed back hard.
Initially, yes. They argued Qiong was essential for military duties, that he was, frankly, overqualified for chasing old robbery leads. It wasn't his job anymore.
A famous ex-chief, now a military officer, being dragged back to investigate a cold case based on a flimsy tip. Understandable resistance.
General Lai backed him completely at first. But Lu Sensor had the ultimate trump card now.
The corruption allegations.
He used them as a direct threat. He basically said, look, if Qiong resists this transfer, my officers are ready to take these corruption claims all the way up.
Not just locally.
No, to the highest levels. To the imperial courts Jingtai and Dongdu. They would formally accuse General Lai himself of sheltering a corrupt official.
Oof. That's career-ending territory for General Lai, accusations reaching the emperor's advisor.
Exactly. The fear of that massive public scandal implicating a powerful general. That was the critical leverage. It instantly broke General Lai's resistance.
He couldn't risk it. Protecting his flag bearer wasn't worth potentially losing everything.
No way. So the inevitable happens. General Lai forces Qiong to accept the police assignment.
How did he frame it?
As an opportunity, ironically. A chance for Qiong to get back out there and personally disprove these nasty rumors about his past.
So Qiong, the reluctant hero, is forced into it.
He agrees, but apparently not without a warning. He basically tells the general, look, I'll do it, but don't expect miracles. My skills aren't magically better than the guys already on this. He knew it was likely a dead end.
He knew the trail was cold, so the reluctant search begins.
Yeah. Qiong, before he even starts, pulls Fan Hu and Tang Warner aside and tells them flat out, guys, I honestly know nothing about this Chen Da or Nu Jin.
He's being forced into this under duress by political blackmail, essentially, not because he has any special insight.
Precisely. He changes into civilian clothes, taps into his old network, starts asking around.
And the result?
The source material is painfully blunt. No trace of the matter. Nothing. Just like Fan Hu suspected months ago, it was a cold trail, probably based on a deliberate lie.
But the system can't accept that, can it? Especially not when they've pinned their hopes, or rather their blame, on the famous Qiong.
Exactly right. He now has to pay the price for the system's failure to find the silver and its failure to see through the initial ruse.
So what happens to him? The text mentions the deadlines.
It notes that because General Lai still had some influence, Qiong managed to avoid a beating the first time the deadline passed.
But only the first time.
Yes, this ominous warning. On the second and third deadlines imposed by Liu Yang, Qiong suffered unwarranted disaster.
Unwarranted disaster, which almost certainly means
Beatings, public humiliation, continued threats, the complete trashing of his hard-earned reputation, all because he couldn't solve an unsolvable case he was forced onto.